What happens when your worst fear becomes your reality? Hi, I'm Brent Cassidy. Welcome to the Nightmare Success In and Out podcast, where we explore how to overcome your fears and nightmares and set yourself free. We're going to be exploring this topic with guys I was in Leavenworth with and others who survived their own nightmare. These stories can be inspiring, sometimes sad. There's some humor, but hopefully you can come away with a nugget of something that'll help you knock down some of the prisons you built up in your own mind. All right, welcome back, Nightmare Success In and Out listeners. This is where you come. What happens when your worst fear becomes your reality? How do you adapt, survive, overcome, set yourself free? Folks, I know I sound like a broken record, but hey, don't forget to follow, subscribe, share this thing out, like it up, comment. It really actually helps the show. It does something with the crazy algorithm stuff, and it just creates good stuff. So I appreciate it when you do that. So who are we talking to today? Well, folks, I got to tell you, Super Chef Darnell Ferguson and I met on Instagram, and I started looking at all the stuff that he has on Instagram too. I think he has over 580,000 followers on that platform. I don't know how many he has on overall platforms, but his story is, gosh, if you guys like just pure, gritty comeback stories and just getting it, Darnell went from being homeless, incarcerated, he transformed himself, his body, and he got into cooking, and he became the super chef. And when I say he became the super chef, I mean, if you watch the Food Network, he is a prominent figure on a lot of different shows. He's the host of Super Chef Grudge Match, the co-host of Worst Cooks in America. You've seen him on Chopped. He was on HGTV's Hometown Takeover. And when I say he went from homeless to the super chef, he was in a car for about 3 months living, and around 2012 he started these pop-up breakfast events, and then in 2015 he was able to launch Super Chef's restaurants in Louisville. He also has he founded the Dripping Crab. It's also in Louisville, and I think he had one in Alabama. And it just continued to roll. And he also gives of his time. When I say he gives of his time, he reaches back in, he mentors teens, hires young people in the restaurants, and he's served on boards, Louisville nonprofits like Blessings in the Backpack and Children Shouldn't Hunger. I can't wait to jump into all this. I can't wait to unpack this story because it's got a lot in it. And I think it'll inspire a lot of people just how to get out of your own funk, your own prison in your own mind, and get to that next step. Before we do that, I want to recognize our show sponsor, Auto Plaza Direct. Who likes spending a couple of weekends walking car lots, looking for a car? Then you spend 4 or 5 hours in the dealership to buy a car. It's kind of like a root canal appointment. Well, there's a better way to take care of all that pain and hassle getting a car. It's called Auto Plaza Direct. They're your personal car concierge. Just tell them the car you want, what you can pay, and they'll go find that car for you. They'll negotiate your best price. They also offer you warranties and finance, all full service. Go to autoplazadirect.com to get started with your personal car concierge. It's the new hassle-free way, the car buying experience you deserve. Auto Plaza Direct. Tell them Brent from Nightmare Success sent you. Darnell Ferguson, welcome in, my man. How are you?
Oh, amazing. I'll say a few words. No. Good, though. Good. No complaints over here.
So, Darnell, I mean, I love talking to people who've gone through what you've gone through because there's so many different steps that people could say, oh, man, wow, I kind of felt like that at one point, but I didn't know what to do and or how to handle it. And people that have gone through what you've gone through and being able to step through it, it's not all easy. You know, it's gritty, it's hard, there's ups and downs, there's roller coasters to it. Can you take us back a little bit into your world when you were a kid growing up? Like, what was that like? Mom, dad, siblings, all that?
Yeah, my mom raised me and my sister, and then she eventually got married to my stepdad, who was amazing. But yeah, I had a good childhood, man. We was in the hood, but we had everything, more than
Louisville,
everything.
right?
No, Columbus. I was
Columbus.
born. So I was born in Philly. My mom moved us from Philly to Columbus because I think her favorite aunt was there.
Okay.
And then she raised us in Columbus, Ohio. I came to Louisville for college, for culinary
Got
arts
it.
school.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was
I'm glad we
raised in
cleared that up
Columbus.
because I just
Yeah,
thought you're a Louisville guy. So,
that's
so
home though. That's
Ohio. Yeah.
yeah, Columbus. I'm a Buckeye.
Okay.
You know, it's good to be national champs, by the way. So yeah, so I had a great childhood, man. Everything you could ever want as a kid, we had from clothes, just everything. My mom didn't miss a beat. Like, so I used to always tell people, like, even though I didn't have like my dad there or nothing, like my mom made sure we never even thought about it. From my standpoint.
And when you say your dad wasn't there, did you have any relationship with your biological dad?
Not growing up.
You
No,
didn't.
not till 2 years ago.
Okay.
When I met him about 2 years ago. But yeah, man, good childhood. I got the kind of childhood people dream of. Just sports there. My mom rarely ever said no to
Yeah.
anything. We had good friends in the neighborhood. We stayed over there. Like, I
Well,
had a good childhood.
the other thing that I think is really interesting about your story is that you and I guess you got watching Emerald on was it the Food
Food
Network?
Network. Yep.
Yeah.
When we had Emerald Live, we used to do BAM.
Okay.
Yep. So he was the,
Is that how you got interested in doing all this stuff with food?
yeah, for 100% for sure. And I met somebody the other day with the same story, so it's kind of cool. He's just talking about how him and his dad used to watch it. He's a big chef now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it started with Emerald. I knew nothing about cooking. My mom cooked dinner often,
Right.
but I didn't pay her no mind. You know what I'm saying? I was more worried about getting out of her way than I
Right.
was watching her cook something. But I used to go to my cousin's house every weekend. Every day I didn't have to be at home, I would go over to their house. And we used to do things that wasn't really cooking, but was creative. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Like we used to make slushies and
Uh-huh.
freeze things, and we used to make like different types of cereal together, like little like just like hood stuff.
Yeah.
But it was all
True experimentation.
yeah, just true experiment. We didn't care if it tastes good and it was sweet. We was good with it. But then when I started watching Emerald on TV, I don't know how I got on there. I wouldn't find it. But I don't know if my mom put it on. I was so attracted to what he did and how he did it. You know what I'm saying? Like it didn't matter what he looked like. None of that
Yeah.
stuff mattered. Emerald was good at making race not a thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There was
Yeah.
many kids who came from the hood who started watching Emerald and wanted to be chefs. Many who came from the suburbs, came from everywhere.
Yeah.
He was just who he was.
It's just a
Was
connector.
enough. Yeah, he's a connector just because he had that little swing to him, you know. So watching him, I used to tell people all the time, like my goal was either I wanted to be a chef or a Navy SEAL. Like that's what I wanted. I wanted to play football, but I was good, but I was late into football because of my grades.
Yeah.
So watching Emerald changed everything. I ended up going to vocational school my junior year to be a chef because of Emerald. So I only went to school for about an hour and a half. Then I went to school the rest of the day to be a chef. And that was when I had a teacher there who I still talk to this day, who changed my entire life. And that's why you got to be intentional what you say to people, because had she not told me she thought I was so good and amazing and it looked like I had been doing this for years and I had never even, I don't even know if I touched a knife. I don't know why I would be touching knives. But when she asked me to cut these things and told me to make them a perfect shape and she gave me the diameters and what it needs to be like, she came back and they were perfect. She said everything I had been looking for my entire life.
Isn't that amazing, Darnell? My youngest daughter's a teacher. She's a high school teacher, and she gets these just great letters, coming back from the kids because she teaches all this this math stuff that I don't even know how she's my daughter because I don't know anything about math, but she teaches these kids and they get confidence and in something they didn't have confidence in before, and teachers can actually make a huge difference in the lives of kids. And the reason why she became a teacher was because when I was going through my stuff and went to prison, her teachers grabbed onto her and helped her in high school. So I think what you just said there is so powerful that it's what teachers can say to someone at that time in their lives to give them confidence to do whatever they're planning on doing can change their life.
Yeah, and so me and my partner, we were in a school in the West End, which is like the rougher end of Louisville, last school year, just going through culinary with kids, teaching them, like doing all these things. And we weren't teachers, so I got it easy. You know what I'm saying? Like I get to go in there, have fun with them, tell them how to cook, just connect with them. But the first day we went in there, it was like a nightmare. I remember my partner looking at me. He's like, Darnell, I don't know what I got you into. As it was everything you could think of, like bad. Like I was like, oh, what am I doing? Like they just don't care. They cuss. It's just crazy. And the next time we came, I prayed and I was like, man, let me be here for them instead of for them here for me. And when I tell you, we never had an experience like that again. When I realized that I'm not there, they're not there for me. Like they're not there to make me happy. I'm there to influence them out of wherever they're at in life. And when I tell you, it just changed everything. The relationships. When I tell you the worst students in their schools, I had the best relationships with them because I understood how to talk to them, understood what they wanted. When it wasn't about how you respond to me, it's about how I respond back to you. You know, because that
That's
teacher
big.
changed. Yeah, she changed everything. Like what you can do with words give life and death.
Yeah.
And most times our emotions take over. And that's one thing I learned through what I went through in life, and I'm still learning today, is that you've got to take your emotions out of things, man. They will get the best of you, put you in a situation you never want to be in, and then you're regretting it. So I try my best now to be more stoic, which is something I read a lot on. I watch a lot of YouTube videos on stoicism, which is helpful for me and probably helpful for a lot of men who may be watching this who want to be in control of themselves.
Yeah.
Which most people don't have control of themselves. That's why it's a fruit of the spirit, because self-control is not an easy thing to get to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's extremely hard to be in control of yourself.
Absolutely.
That's just where I've been at in life lately.
Well, so I wonder when I was reading through your bio and everything, Darnell, I was wondering like when you were experiencing these things and you went to the culinary school, you had a whole nother life where you were dealing in drugs. Did you feel like that you were, and you even just told me before we got on that when you went over to China, you were chosen to go to Beijing to cook for these athletes, but you still were in the drug world. You were straddling the fence. What was that like to be in that? You got this chef world here, and you're kind of getting recognition for this, and you're also helping to do it, and then you've got this drug business over here. How did you shuffle all that?
I did the best of what I had. And the sad part that people don't get about life is when people say that, like, well, you had another choice you could have taken too, but like, I didn't. I didn't have, this was the option I was given. It was the option that sparked my interest because I tried to work a job while I was in college and I was on the dean's list for not the good reasons. You know what I'm saying? They're like, hey, you got one more bad grade before we got to kick you out of school. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what that's called, but it ain't the good conversations to have. You know, I literally had multiple jobs before I started selling drugs.
Yeah.
And I just didn't have the capacity. I'm not a school person. I was trying my best. I was working and I was going to school and I was failing out of school because school needed my full attention. Selling drugs is like, even if full time is part time, it doesn't really, you don't have to be thinking really, you know, it's not that hard. But so I was doing that because I felt like it was the only way I could graduate. You know what I'm saying? And then it grew into like, okay, well, this builds a good lifestyle. I never have to ask my mom or anybody for anything. And I ain't hurt nobody in my mind. In my mind in college. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I'm not really hurt nobody. And people used to always say to me, man, like, because it went from like being a college drug dealer to like being the city one. And that's when people were like, man, you don't seem like when they meet me, they're like, you don't seem like a drug dealer. I'm like, I'm not. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not like this. I got a plan. And
I'm moving forward with this other deal. Right.
Like, listen to me. When I went to the Olympics, one of my closest friends ran everything for me. I gave him my connects number, everything. He knew what to do. I was like, I won't talk to you in these months, bro. So you're going to have to keep track of money. You have a lot to do while I'm gone. But he did it all. Got back. I didn't have to worry about him. He's like my closest friend in life at that point. And I had a plan. Like I said, when I get back, I got to graduate college, which I did. And I said, I even had enough money to start my business up I want to do, which was in cooking. I had everything going for me. And I was like, this is my last time ever. Like my plug knew, he's like, this is my last time ever buying drugs from you. This is it for me. And it was at that moment that everything went back. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was like, my mom was getting remarried in Vegas. I'm taking my girl with me to Vegas. I ain't worried about nothing. It was my last time ever. Like, I always had a plan. I never wanted to do it for life.
Yeah.
And it was at that time where the city had already been looking at me. They was already ready. And as soon as it was my last time is when everything went wrong. And all this fugitive stuff, being a fugitive on the run. And I just like, I ain't about to be a fugitive. So I'm gonna just go back. And then that's where just like, you gotta deal with it, and dealt with it. I had an amazing lawyer who was amazing. And that plays a big part in
That
that life.
helps.
Yeah.
It helps a
and,
lot.
and even going through what I just went through in life this last season, like people who don't have a lawyer almost don't have a chance. Because the system is, man, I learned so
Ugly.
much about the system, man. I was innocent from what I just went through with my ex, and I still had to prove it. Like that's crazy. Like, and we didn't even end up going to trial about it. But the thing about it was, like, it had already ruined so much. I'd already lost everything. I lost every TV, every endorsement, everything. I lost 90% of people that was in my life, and not because of the situation, but I could tell like they weren't there for the right reasons. Because now that I wasn't super chef and had all these possibilities for them, they just all went away over time. You started seeing people for who they are, and yeah, life is uniquely different. Was at least.
Well, it's that's one of the things you asked me to look at because you, you were at this extreme high, and I want to get back to and then having to deal with what you just talked about in the last year and getting through that.
Mm.
Um, when did, when this thing happened, when you made the decision that I'm not coming back here. This is gonna be my last time that I'm in these confinements. When you started the idea that you were going to do those pop-up events,
Mhm.
did you think at that time that this was going to grow into something big?
Well, the pop-ups, the
Yeah,
restaurants.
yeah,
No, I wasn't doing the restaurants to be a restaurateur. I was doing the restaurants because I needed to make a living,
yeah,
a good living, like I should say a legal living, because I had the talent, I
yeah,
had everything necessary. Like when I was working in restaurants, and I worked with some great chefs, but I felt like I was like I don't know. I felt like I was the one behind it that like doing all the specials, doing everything that they
yeah.
look good for. And that's all part of the process. I had nothing wrong with that. But it came a moment where I was like, you know what, I can do this myself. But I was trying to start a different business. The pop-ups was just supposed to be for
Well, how
income. And
how did you feel when like I think you were on Rachel Ray, and
that was after the pop-ups.
yeah, okay, you were on Rachel Ray, but was that kind of your breakout moment?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Nationally, yep. She was. I think her producer seen the story. A guy did the story how I went from living on my car to owning 3 restaurants, and they picked up on it. And that's when I did Rachel Ray, and then she surprised me and had Emerald come out, which was
Which was huge. This
crazy.
is the guy you grew up with,
That was
watching.
crazy. Yeah, and it was just that was the moment that started. But people don't know this. But before I did Rachel Ray, guys, grocery games had already called, and I was already going to go compete on their show. It was just a trickle effect. Like Rachel Ray came on, and then guys, grocery games aired a couple months after, so it just steam started to build up, and it started to not just be about the food, but be about like who I was as a person,
Yeah.
which is the game changer in all businesses. Like it's the person running it. So that the
That's
Rachel
the
Ray
yeah.
helped.
You're the commodity, right?
Yep. And not just because, and I need, it took a long time to realize that because I was so worried about people stealing my recipes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I ain't want, but it was like, oh, we ain't giving nobody these recipes when they come in here. We got to make them ourselves. And then I met a chef who was like, hey, man, you got to realize it ain't about the recipes. It's about the person making the recipes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They're not you. So yeah, so the Rachel Ray was the catalyst for everything personally, not culinary wise though.
Yeah.
Because I didn't go in there and cook. No one seen me like how great I was as a chef. It wasn't about my restaurants. So it was like, and the funny part about it is I'd have never got on Rachel Ray had I not got arrested. You know what I'm saying? Like, had I not went through what I went through, they would have never called. I would have never had that opportunity had I not went through the hell I went through.
Yeah.
Because it played a part, a key part in it. You just don't see it when you're going through it. Like what I just went through for the last year and a half was hell on. Like when I tell you, we talk about living a nightmare. Like my show debuted season 2 on probably January 2nd. I got locked up January 7th. So they took my show off. I'm big everywhere. It just premiered within a week, so everyone's talking about it. So when I got locked up, People Magazine, everybody covered the story.
Yeah.
And at that point, I couldn't defend myself or say anything. I just had to be quiet and just let people either believe it or not. And that was hard. But just lost everything, man. And it's just like I never imagined that would happen to me. Like never in a million years did I think that I would be on every news, every article, every publication about burglary, strangulation, theft, all these things that's like crazy. I thought I gave that life up.
Yeah. And Darnell, because building yourself up to where you got to, because I mean, you were on
High level at that
you were
time.
on
We were
a,
the
you were on a,
top.
you were on the star trajectory of everything, and
Mhm.
hosting all these different things, and having your own show and being a co-host and all these things. Um, and then for those who haven't followed this, the whole thing was recanted, but it didn't stop the progression of what happened.
Yeah,
And
you still had to go through. The state still picked it up and
right,
still wanted to go to trial about it for over a year and some change. So the state, man, I couldn't believe it. I was like, man, I can't believe it. And the thing I couldn't believe the most about it was I had been so good to Kentucky and Louisville in general, and they didn't have any evidence at all. She came out, said what happened. She had said it under oath before she had made a statement, I believe. Or maybe she made a statement after she said it under oath to a judge. And they didn't have any evidence, and they still wanted to prosecute me. And I'm like, I just couldn't get it, man. It made no sense at all. So it was a law, and nothing you could do. I couldn't work. Like, no, I'm unemployable at this time,
yeah,
and I'm too good to get a basic job at like a line cook because they don't want me to come in their restaurants because the super chef is on your line. Now your line's just like chaotic now. Like,
yeah,
who's the real boss here? You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like, not for me. I'm good. Like, I could play my part and play my role, just get my check and leave.
right,
But if you put me on a line, like it's just a lot of people were worried about it from a standpoint of people are going to know he works here now. That could be bad. Also, like, how will the cooks go about that? You know what I'm saying? Like, will they start listening to him? Will it be like, because most cooks looked up to me, so therefore it's like it was hard. No working really, just small time jobs here and there, and yeah, it was a lot of waiting and a lot of praying and prayers not getting answered. And that's like a big part of what I think my story going forward for a lot of people are going to be, because a lot of people are hoping for good things to happen. And when bad things happen, most people go to God. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like and you should,
right,
and you should. But the question is, what do you do when God says no? Like, you are going to prison. No, you are getting indicted. No, you can't work nowhere. No, 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 no. And you're like, well, I need this to live. You're like, but no,
yeah.
you
Well,
know.
and not only that, I mean, you're dealing with this, and you have 7 kids. Your
Hmm.
wife. So and for those we're talking kind of around the situation, Darnell and his wife had a fight that happened, and the
So
law
we had an
enforcement.
altercation
Yeah,
that happened,
yeah,
which was really, there was nothing like it was said to be.
right,
And if I like to take her out the situation because, I mean, what she told him that day, I mean, there's nothing to harp on anymore. She apologized. We kind of moved past that,
yeah,
and I understood her anger. But the way that the police did it afterwards is what really was eye dropping. Like the details of it. But we had a situation that happened that day, which they painted up as I was like a jealous guy or something. I'm like, there's no way in the world I would have known someone was in her house. Like, I was dropping my kids off, and it wasn't even, and I wasn't violent to the guy. I wasn't none of those things. And the incident happened to where I pushed her off of me, and I guess when I left, she ended up getting mad and she told the cops different things. And then she came back and said it wasn't how it happened. And they just didn't want to hear. At that point, this prosecutor had what he wanted. Like
Well,
he had a name.
they had already started their narrative the way that they wanted it. And
Yeah, and they were stuck on it, and we got through it all. But man, when I got locked up that day, I never imagined I would be in that situation in life, man. Like when they told me the charges, I tell you, my heart dropped to my feet,
yeah.
and I just was like, "What?" It was an insane moment.
Well, I want to take a break there because when we come
Mhm,
back, I want to talk about how you step out of that.
mhm.
Because it's a very humbling moment when you're at the top of the mountain and you get knocked down when you think that you were never going to go back down the mountain, and you you also find out how these people around you react when you're at the top.
Yeah,
Everybody wants to be your entourage, and then when you come back down and who's around you. Uh, a lot of people don't like how they show up online. A lot of people think there's no hope when it comes to managing your reputation on Google. There is hope. It's called the Discoverability Company, and they can help you. Whether you're building a reputation from scratch, repairing your search results after a negative news story, or you're even trying to position yourself a little better against your business's competition. Discoverability can also help you how you're portrayed on popular AI services like ChatGPT. To learn more, visit discoverability.co. It's not .com, it's .co. They're even launching a do-it-yourself option, a course for individuals who want to take on their search results on their own budget and speed. Listeners of Nightmare Success can take $100 off the DIY SEO course with coupon code Nightmare Success. And the Nightmare Success podcast is sponsored by the White Collar Support Group, the world's first support group devoted to people navigating the white collar criminal justice system. I'm a member of the White Collar Support Group, and I can tell you it's a bunch of people who help each other through the criminal justice journey for free. Whether you're just starting your journey or you made it through to the other side, this is a great space for you. Join us on Zoom Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And we're also working on a federal expungement initiative. So you can go to federalexpungementinitiative.org and get involved, advocate. And if you want to know more about the White Collar Support Group, go to prisonness.org. So, Darnell, because I know that ride for you up the mountain had to be great, right?
Yeah, it was great. It was longer than I thought it would be. It was good though. Man, I competed on Food Network for
Because I mean,
almost.
you were quite the personality, and people loved the energy you gave, getting out there and being who you were. And like you said, they obviously you really good at what you did with cooking, but your personality took it into fifth gear, and that became what people wanted to see was here's Darnell the super chef.
Yeah, it took a long time to get there too, because my personality was not there in the beginning. And Guy Fieri, who is an amazing like uncle who never left my side in this moment. When I tell you, he just texted me the other day, never leaves my side. When I tell
Awesome.
you, he's a true he as great as everyone thinks he is from everything he does for people. He's 20 times better.
Yeah,
Like
that's awesome. I mean, that's
20
great to hear.
20 times better, man. Everyone, I ain't heard from no other celebrity chef. I would say about two. But I knew many. Text many, had many. I fought to get some on shows that I was to judge on my show, and went to bat for them. Like, man, I need this person on there, please. Like they were young like me. I just want to get them up. And they never reached out. Nothing ever happened. But Guy never ever left a
That's awesome.
second. But the process of getting to where I was at was tough, and it was long. I started to try to figure out why it took me so long to even start judging. I competed for 6 years before they ever let me judge. Maybe people judging you ain't never seen
Right.
nowhere. And I'm like, I've been doing this for 6 years.
Yeah.
And they still wouldn't let me judge. And not let me. They still didn't choose me to judge.
Right.
I used to think something was wrong. I was like, man, I didn't understand it. But Guy started working with me on my personality and getting out the shell. Because he's always wondered why I wouldn't engage in conversation with him right before I'm about to compete. And then one time I finally told him, I was like, man, Kobe has a great personality. People love his stories when he's not playing basketball.
Uh-huh.
He ain't talking to you right before the game starts. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
I'm so focused. Guy is making jokes. I'm not catching the jokes because I'm worried about what we about to do. Yeah. And then he kind of got me out that shell and it made me realize I got to make the most of every single second I got on here. I don't have the ability to just worry about food. I need to worry about food and showing people who I am. And that kind of changed things. And once that happened, it just went up and I started judging, co-hosting, hosting. And obviously, I always compete. I love competing. I miss competing the most. I thought I would miss hosting the most, but I miss competing the most because that's what people really love to see me cook and really like my cooking style. So it was a long journey up to get to the top, and we were right there. Like when I tell you, we were about 2 months away from closing on season 3 and having that opportunity to get like a big deal. And then all this stuff just shook it up and tore it right apart, right in front of my face. And I was like, man, we worked so hard. I felt like I let my manager down. My manager had worked for me for free for so long because he knew I needed the money. Like he had another job. So he was like, man, till you at a point where you ain't struggling, I don't want nothing. And he did everything for probably like 2-3 years for free. And I felt like I let him down so much because we had worked so hard and finally got the opportunity, and then this happens. And now it's like I got to rebuild it back up again.
Yeah. But I think, people who go through this, and I think I've done, this is season 4 and 180 some odd interviews. That comeback thing it can be done. It's a choice. And it's not easy because it's going to be harder carrying this on your back, but you've done it before. That's the one thing that you've got, Darnell, that you didn't have when you were like 20 years old. You hadn't done it already. So you actually are older. You've gone through what you did to get to where you were. And like you said, it took longer than you thought. But in your mind, you've actually done this before. So there's that muscle memory of, okay, this is bad. I'm at the place I didn't plan on being, but how do I step out of it? What are your thoughts right now, going through what you've gone through, being where you're at? Like, what are your thoughts next step wise?
Like you said, I've done it multiple times before. Like from a restaurant standpoint, we've been down, we've been in business and failures of different businesses and coming back up in TV and all this stuff, man. It's happened. I've done it so many times that I have no doubt in my mind that whatever is next is way bigger than it was before.
Yeah.
And so the next steps is just, I already had a plan. So before this got going, I had been waiting like 2 months to launch this show that we just started on YouTube, which is like the foundation of other shows we already have planned. And we just were waiting, shooting content, just waiting. And I got the concept for the show while I was in the season. Had I not been that season, I would have never gotten the show because I didn't need it. But now this is like the game changer for me. And I'm just ready. Like we've already started the process. I didn't wait. I think we started like 2 days after it was over. You know what I'm saying? After it was over, we started like immediately. Like there was no waiting, but also, man, I wasn't sitting in that season in despair when it got closer to the trial date. I was sitting in there just waiting, anticipating, like, okay, I'm ready for this. And then as soon as this is done, we're ready to take off and get this thing rolling back again, like with no break in between. I'm just not built like that. I'm just super optimistic, super faithful. My faith is heavy in like my purpose and also the favor that God has on my life. And the more favor he has also means the harder things are too at times. And I think it's important for me, and it was always important for me to compare myself to people in the Bible. I try not to compare myself to just people like everyday people. I ain't gonna compare myself to another chef or another athlete or somebody trying to make it. I compare myself and I look at how God allowed things to happen to the people he loved and he favored the most. He favored Joseph heavily to be number 2 in Egypt, like highest position ever you could get outside of being the Pharaoh. But he went to jail for a very long time for something he never did.
A lot of people went to jail in Bible.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I look at David, who was the greatest king ever. Well, his son was probably the greatest, the wisest, but David was one of the greatest. And like, God allowed him to fear for his life on the run for years. Allowed him to lose, allowed him to live with his enemies. All these things came with it. So that's why I believe that all the success that's coming and that's came, there's also some pain attached to it. So you just got to deal with the pain part and don't be so thrown off by it. Like, I'm not thrown off by what just happened. When it first happened, super thrown off.
Sure.
It takes some time to
It
like
wouldn't be
let it
human.
sit in.
Right.
Yeah. Let it sit in. But at some point, you gotta like dust the boots off, and you gotta like turn. So if you don't go through the season correctly, you won't come out right.
Right.
So the key to whatever you're going through, like the hardship, is you got to go through it. You can't run from it. You can't go the easy route. You can't give yourself pleasure to make yourself go through it.
Mhm.
Because a lot of time pleasure is our like thing you go to make something better. But in that season, there was no pleasure even available for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, there wasn't any pleasures for me in that season. Like, so I couldn't go anywhere. I couldn't do anything. I didn't have no one. I ain't have no money. I had nothing I could do or go to.
Yeah.
Wasn't about to try to talk to girls or something like that. This ain't the season for that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm dealing with a case right now. This ain't it right now. So it's like, if you go through the season and let it change you the way it's supposed to, you come out the season like understanding. Like I used to, the Central Park 5 or however many it was.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
forget what it was.
Uh-huh.
I listened to one of the stories in that season. I used to listen to all the people who went through something in that season.
Uh-huh.
And I remember one of the guys saying, "It's like, what would you change about anything?" And he was like, "I wouldn't change nothing." And he's like, "Why would you not change? You wouldn't change like not going to jail?" He's like, "No, because I wouldn't be right here."
Mm.
When you are on the opposite side of it, which I am now,
Mhm.
you start realizing things that you couldn't when you was in it. Like,
Mhm.
man, had it not been for that situation, granted, I would have liked another way for it to happen. I'm gonna be honest. But I guarantee you, I would have never trusted God the way I do now.
Mm.
Never, ever, ever. You know what I'm saying? I would have never trusted him the same way I do now. Like, no matter what I go through, I know it's all right. I know I'm gonna get through it. I know he's got me. And there's no doubt in my mind because I've been to a place where not only so sometimes the worries aren't as serious. It's like financial or something like that you do need. But sometimes it's like life. Like, am I going to be locked away for 10 to 15 years? That is a total different type of weight on your shoulders. I'd rather be fighting financially than fighting for your life in prison time. So sometimes I'll have a bad day and God to remind me, don't forget what you're not fighting today.
Mm.
I'm like, oh, sheesh. Yeah, I ain't doing that. That ain't what I'm worried about right now. Okay, it is a good day. You know,
Yeah, I think that's a big deal, Darnell, what you just said there, because everybody has their own situations, their own nightmares, and it's how they deal with them. How the challenge is there. How do you move forward? I wear these leather bracelets on my wrist, and a guy from Leavenworth is the one that made them, and
hmm,
um, I wear them every day, and I put them on every day, and I think about that. That was a lot worse. So whatever's going on
mm,
today is better. And what you just said there is so important because however you deal with what you have, what you've been given, uh, can make you a winner or a loser as how you move forward. Because,
mm.
like you said, you could just curl up in a you know a position in the corner here and not come out.
Yeah, have a pity
And
party.
yeah, a huge pity party. And I always think that people who listen to this show, I probably sound like a broken record, but there is a choice between victim and survivor. And if you choose survivor, it almost makes you feel like you've gained more strength. If you feel
Yeah,
like you've been victimized, it takes all your strength away from you, and you're having to blame and point fingers and do whatever. If you're a survivor, you're figuring it out. You're figuring out what the next thing is because you're grouping together whatever you have in your being to get to the next step. And I think that's what I know that you've gone through a lot in the last few months. But what gives me so much confidence about you and your comeback, this is a second comeback, but like you said, I think it'll be stronger because of all the things that you've experienced to this point in your life. And people love comebacks. I mean,
mm,
they love to see people get knocked out. I mean,
yeah.
it's a
The
crazy,
internet does.
it's a
Yeah,
crazy thing. It's why do people drive slow past a car accident? They love to see stuff that makes them scared and it wasn't them. But as much as they like to see the fall, that they even like the comeback more. I mean, how many Rockies are there? Is there six?
yeah,
I
hmm,
mean, they just couldn't get enough of the first
yeah,
Rocky. He had to come back six times. But it's innate in people to want, especially people that they they like or they're attached to. They'll watch them fall, they'll move away from them, but they'll attach themselves right back to them if they see them get up and start stepping.
Yeah, and everyone likes the movies. And I always say this, man, like from people idolize, well, especially in my group, most of my people are we're believers and we just follow God, and that's us. Not I don't put that on other people. But a lot of people I'm around, they idolize the people of the Bible.
Yeah.
In a good way. Like they're the right people to look up to.
Sure.
And they like the stories, they make their lives, they get their strength from them stories. But at some point you may be the story.
That's
I'm saying?
right.
Like,
That's
and
right.
and how are you handling this?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like the Bible's not done being written right now.
Right.
He's still writing it. We just won't be there to read it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like we gotta make sure our story is one that when people read, it's something that makes them better. And sometimes you gotta take the L. You took it already. You know what I'm saying? Now you're in the moment. Don't take another one by letting this situation take you down. You know what I'm saying? And for me, I always tell people like, and don't try to figure it out on your own, because I always give people this parable. It's like you got to go to who created you or what created you to figure out what to do next. You say you don't have the answers. If you had the answers, you wouldn't be in the situation you're in right now. And that's not to say anything to speak downly on it or anything, but you don't. You know what I'm saying? If we all had the answers, we would all be living the dream that we always dreamed of, but we don't. So I tell people, man, you gotta, at this moment in the season you in, when it's hard and you live in that nightmare, you gotta 100%, you gotta go to God. And the reason why I said it is because he created you. He knows what you're supposed to be doing, how to get out of it, the right way of doing it. It's like a microwave that was created and it tells itself it's going to become a cabinet. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's useful. It can store some stuff, but it never ever reaches true potential. You know what I'm saying? Like, it never plugged itself into the wall. It never seen itself light up. It never seen itself warm up other things that make it worthy. Like, it never really seen the power it had because it kept doing it this way. So I think it's important that in the season and the nightmare, man, you're not there by mistake. As much as everything is wrong, at the same time, everything is right. And it's hard to do that. Like, it's hard to believe that in the season, but me coming out of it multiple times, and like I told you, I would have never been all right had I never been locked up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they would have never got that part of the story. Because they like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't like it, but
no, there's an old Chinese proverb of get knocked down 7 times, get up 8. Well, why would you get up the 8th time? It's because you believe that you can get up. You believe that you can take another hit, and the people that get knocked down. I mean, you read all these big books, of the titans of the universe that have built these things. They've all fallen. They've all made mistakes, and they've all figured out how to get and learn from that, and even become, like what you said, Darnell, bigger, better versions of themselves. And and the other thing that I find interesting is that because you were so good at what you do, you have created a universe of Darnell fans. And in this world we live in, it's not like 20 years ago when you had to have a network. You had to have an outlet for a cable station. You really don't now. You've got YouTube that is becoming one of the greatest
it's the new cable network. Yeah, it's the new cable network.
It is.
You can shoot it on your phone.
Yeah. And if you can get on that and you can get subscribers and you can get big, you own your own world that way with your own people, your own subscribers. It's your own network. And I can see that as a great outlet for you because you've already got pieces of that can be put together that can become a powerful force in itself.
Yeah, and I always had a plan, man. I've always been a dreamer. I've always been a dreamer is probably the best thing to say. And we used to have a quote on the outside of our restaurants that said, "Dream so big that unless God helps you, you'll be a miserable failure."
I love that.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not dreaming small. I ain't got no small bones in my body to be dreaming about something I know I can do. Everything I'm trying to do, I need help. I just need it, so it's the comeback story is great and it's possible. People need to see it. I mean, what you're doing to show it is huge because I didn't realize, man, there's so many people living a nightmare.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And need to figure out how to get out of it and how to, sometimes before they got in a nightmare, they wasn't living like they wanted either.
Exactly. And you don't have to go to prison or be homeless to be living a nightmare. There's people walking around, I spent 3 years in prison. I saw people, get institutionalized. But when I got out, I said, oh my God, somebody had a bad childhood. Somebody had a bad marriage. Somebody had a bad job experience. Somebody had a bad health crisis. And those things put them in prisons in their own mind that they couldn't step out of. And it was
Hmm.
limiting them from doing whatever because they had become institutionalized to not want to step out to get to where they thought they needed to be because of what had happened to them.
Yeah, it's like when I went to the Olympics. When I went to the Olympics, I was a chef for the USA teams in Beijing for the Summer Olympics. Then that's when Michael Phelps won all those gold medals, and
Yeah,
it was a
huge. That was
life
a huge Olympics. Yeah,
huge. The Redeem team maybe was that
yeah,
year.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
And we were the first students ever chosen to cook for their country's Olympics. And it was a big deal here. It was huge. And when I went, I left one person, but I came back a whole different person. When I was over there in Beijing and I seen what life is really like, oh man, when I tell you the pay isn't there, the opportunities are not there, life isn't there, what you can watch isn't there, freedom isn't there. Like it is a whole total. So when I came back to America, I came back a whole different person. I could outwork anybody. I never complained about anything. I wanted to do things for free just to learn how to do them. Whereas everyone was so, that's not my job. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I'm not doing this. Like, I remember asking my chef, like, I knew he broke down the fish every day. I'm like, hey, can you show me how to do this? I'll come in early. Like, I don't need to clock in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I never needed money to learn what I wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, I never needed that anymore. And
But
it
I think
opened me
that's
up.
Darnell, I think that's a really big thing that I don't want to just gloss over. Asking someone for help because you don't know how to do it is very, shows humility and being humble. But if you're able to do that and you're able to take mentoring from someone, it's like getting the answers to the test before the test. You know,
Yep.
you are literally getting, and a lot of people who are getting their things right, they like to share. And,
Yep.
and I don't want to just gloss over what you said there because you can kickstart yourself so much further in advance if you're willing to do that and ask for help on
Yep.
things you don't know.
And make it, and I was positioning myself by doing this for a great future.
Yeah.
Because by the time I got ready for my own restaurants and stuff, I wasn't like when I went from being a line cook, I went from being a line. Now I was a chef for a while, but it just didn't have. I wasn't a sous chef for that long
Yeah.
before I went to being an executive chef. Like the jump was so fast because the knowledge was already there while I was a line cook. I was doing the things that my chef was doing for free every single day, cutting his fish, doing his inventory, coming in, doing all the specials,
Yeah.
everything. Because I wanted to learn. Like it was my knowledge. My knowledge was going to pay out for me later on in life. But it was something that I wanted to say that reminded me of earlier, and we're talking about like failures and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I remember at one point I was studying Steve Jobs, right? Because he got let go from I want to say
His own
Apple or something.
company.
Yeah, his
The
own
company
company.
found it. They fired him.
It's crazy work there, by the way. Like you want to talk about being pissed and
Oh
mad? Like
man.
you had every reason,
Yeah.
but you know what he did? He left there and started Pixar.
Yeah.
Just think about that. Like that's a person who, like, but he said something I was going through some stuff with an investor at one point who let me down and just disappeared on the face of the earth after I signed a lease for a property when I was first trying to start it up. That's how I went to Popups because a guy disappeared on me. And he said, failure is the medicine that the doctor must prescribe to the patient. And I was like, man, that's so good. He's like, you need it. He said, without it, you'll never truly see success. He said, you'll only think you're successful. But man, I was like, this is the medicine you need. You need these times in order to make you into, I feel like you said, these hard times make you into somebody unstoppable. When you go through them correctly, like you got new confidence, you got new, just everything about you is different. You're stronger. You're not weak minded like you may have been before. It made you become something that you wouldn't have done on your own.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of when you go through it correctly. And I thank God that I had people around me, enough people, wasn't many, but I had enough people around me who didn't let me choose the weak way out of it, which is feeling bad, complaining, talking about the situation, keep reliving it over and over and over again, but just had to focus on, okay, what do I do now? You know what I'm saying? Like, what do I do now? And made some choices that put me in a position now where now the season's over I believe there's nothing in this world I can't do. And every goal we have, we're going to get it. And not just get it for myself, man. I think that one thing I learned is that I need to make sure that what I'm doing, people see it this time. I've always played the route of I never talk a lot about like myself. I usually talk more about what God is doing. But God's like, this time, I need you to tell people. Like, I need you to make sure they understand and hear you. Because I would always be quiet around people, even though I have a talkative personality. When it came to really giving life to people, sometimes I would just be quiet
Yeah.
in circles to where I could change the whole situation. Not around people who need it, but like I would be around very influential people and I would just play my role of just like sometimes just being a fly on the wall.
Yeah.
And God's like, you ain't a fly on the wall no more.
No fly on the wall.
We need
Super Chef Darnell Ferguson is no fly on the wall.
So it's just now I just see the impact is so much bigger, like you said, because what you go through does change things.
Yes.
You know, so I'm excited about the future.
Well, I am too, and I know. Hopefully, we have a follow-up
Yeah, for sure.
episode where we talk about all the things that you're doing in your next step, next world. If you think, Darnell, back through all this that you've gone through, do you have a takeaway to share to everybody?
Oh, many. But do I have one I think of often?
Because a lot's happened with you.
Yeah, a lot has happened. Um, I don't know. Today, I don't have one. Normally, I'm a note taker because I would forget. My
Yeah.
ex would tell you, she said it yesterday when I talked to her, she's like, you forget your head if it wasn't on your shoulders. Because I'm always like just moving. So I write down a lot of stuff. So since I'm on this, I can't look at my notes.
Well,
But
I think that, I mean, just following through on what you already talked about on the show, I think that one of the takeaways is you don't give up on your dreams.
yeah. And the dreams change. So I don't have the same dream today that I had before this happened. I want to be very clear. My goals and dreams, how excited I am about what's going to happen in the future, was not the dream before the stuff happened.
Yeah.
And you got to accept that. And I accepted that. My dream was all about TV and all these things. Now it's like, it's more YouTube. It's more me with people, connecting with people.
Yeah.
And like, it's okay. You know what I'm saying? To reinvent yourself. I think some people get stuck in the self they first thought about.
Yes.
And they never can get away from that.
And I think that's a good takeaway, because when you're building yourself back in, once you build yourself back to or your second comeback or your comeback, might not be anything what you were doing on your first go, because you're combining things into what you know now, and that can form itself into something else that's bigger or different than what you were doing before. And that's not a bad thing. That can be a really good thing.
Yeah, for sure. I accept things for what they are.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I just focus a lot on what I can change, and whatever I can't change. It's a saying in Stoicism that you hope things work out the way they should, not the way you want them to. You know what I'm saying? And that helps you to be able to deal with life a little better. It's like, man, I wanted to work out supposed to, not the way I wanted to, because my way don't always work out my way. So I'll be, you know what I'm saying? So what I'm gonna do? Be sad every single time? But if I just hope they work out like they're supposed to, however it happens, this is exactly how it's supposed to happen. And I'm just gonna do my part in this life. And my life motto has always been to do anything like you do everything. Like, I give 100% energy to every single thing I do. I don't pick and choose what I'm gonna be great at. I fail all the time. Like, not all the time, but I fail. And you know what it just lets me know is like, I ain't supposed to be doing that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But had I been given 30% for 3 years, I'd have never found that out. You know what I'm saying? But I go hard in the beginning, and it kind of lets me know like, this ain't it. Let me rethink life a little bit.
See, we grabbed the takeaway out of there. That was a great takeaway. That's a great takeaway.
You can't pick and choose. And I'm 100% in with my kids.
Yeah.
I'm 100% in with a relationship I may have. I don't have one now, but in a relationship I would have from day one of meeting that person. Because I'm going to talk to somebody that I'm in love with day one. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a hopeless romantic in that area. But everything is like that for me.
Yeah.
And I don't pick and choose what doesn't matter. Every single thing matters. Some things don't work out like I want them to, but that's okay. They're not supposed to. And I just keep on moving.
Keep moving. Man, that's a good way to end it right there, because Darnell Ferguson is going to keep on moving. Talking about gratitude and everything else, I want to give a shout out to Homestead Financial Home Mortgage for letting me use this podcast studio. If anybody's got home mortgage needs out there, Greg Afty is your guy. He knows all this stuff. If you're looking for a book out there, I've got one. It's Nightmare Success, Loyalty, Betrayal, Life Behind Bars, Adapting, Finally Breaking Free. If you got time, give me a review on Apple. Those things help. If you want to know what I'm doing, go to BrentCassidy.com. I spell it wrong. It's with a TY, not a DY. There were a lot of cool Cassidys, when I was growing up. Darnell, God,
Butch,
Sean and David, but not me. I was Cassidy. As I used to say to my people when I was writing my emails back and forth from Leavenworth, stay strong. I'll do the same. Darnell Ferguson, thanks for coming by today. I appreciate it, and man, I wish you the best with everything. I know things are going to pop for you, and it's going to be good stuff.
No, man, thank you, man. Keep doing what you're doing, man. This is great that you're letting people see these. People need, man, when I tell you, people need this. You know what I'm saying? So just sending what I can do to help share it and stuff like that. But people, they don't need my story per se, but they need many stories that may be for them. You don't need one.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You don't need to listen to that one.
Yep. Totally agree. All right, folks. Nightmare Success, in and out.